Hi, Leather Rokk, welcome to my channel. You know that's my mom. If you want to see how we bleached my hair, stay tuned for more. I left and I got my hair bleach and I am going to start that now. Let's get to it. And I have a bag full of rubber gloves here. Oh man, you know what? I should get some powder to make it easier to put these gloves on. Hold on. Powder has a lot of uses, by the way. Did you know that if you wore rubber pants or rubber clothes, you really should powder yourself first, because powder acts like a lubricant and it makes it easier to put them on without you getting stuck to them. I find the look of PVC and the look of rubber quite intriguing. Some people are into it as a fetish. I see nothing wrong with that. It'd be nice if I figure out how to open this up. Boy, you can tell that I've never opened this thing before. I don't know how to. Oh, there you go. Okay, just going to shake some into this, put some on my hand, and I am going to put this glove on. Okay, got my measuring cup, and this, of course, is glass. I poured myself some iced tea, and I'm about to drink it. I've already drunk 2 glasses of this size because I'm thirsty as heck. I've probably sweated a pound or 2 in water weight out today. Hot. My goodness. Okay. Now, let's get the show on the road. Normally, I start with 4 ounces of peroxide, but that's when I have normal root growth. Now I have much bigger roots. It might not look it, but it certainly is. So I'm going to go for a good bit more than 4 ounces, but I'm going to measure it anyway. And try not to squint too much because my vision is really not the best. This is the creamy version of the peroxide, which actually is the kind that's recommended with the bleach powder that I'm using. You know what? Back when I first started doing the bleach, I used to get the bleach in these boxes. It was by a company called Wella. I used to use Wella Cream Bleach or Wella Speedlight, and it was a box that had 2 applications in it. But they either stopped making it or they stopped carrying it at the beauty supply that I was going to. So that's when I started getting the stuff here. And this is a full pound of powder, which translates into, I'm not sure how many applications, because how many applications you get out of it depends on how much you use at a time, depending on how much roots you're covering. I'm covering a lot, as you can see. So, and I put 6 ounces rather, of the 30 volume peroxide. Now, I used to use 20 volume peroxide, but because I am a natural redhead, even though my hair is nowhere near as bright and obvious as it was when I was, say, in 2nd grade, when I was a very traditional red Irish lass redhead. Sometime I got to find my 2nd grade picture for you, where my hair was long in the picture, but for whatever reason, I piled it on top of my head, and I did this thing where I twisted up, which is how I wear my hair around the house to keep it off my face when it's so hot, or it's more comfortable that way. That way my hair doesn't get in everything, and also when I eat, I'd rather not have my hair get in everything. I'm going to stick this up here so that it is easier for you guys to see, because the whole idea is I want you guys to see what I'm doing without showing too much of the mess that's in my room, because, you know, but I want this to look like kind of a professional set. So here's what I'm going to do here. Where is that? Oh, here. Okay. I'm going to take this, and now it's a real good idea to actually look at the directions, even if you do this regularly, because it actually says how many scoops to how many ounces, and it talks about off scalp application and on scalp application. Now, the smart thing to do would be to maybe not have it on the scalp, but you do want the roots to be covered. And again, I expect there's going to be a point when this is going to hurt like hell. So, okay, I'm looking at the time right now. It's 10:28 p.m. I'm going to take a look at what it says. It says, okay, for off-scalp application only, you use 1 scoop of the powder and you mix it with 1.5 ounces to 2 fluid ounces of the 20 or 30 volume. Now, if it says on scalp application, it's 1 scoop for 1.5 fluid ounces to 2.5 fluid ounces, 20 or 30. And it says check development at regular intervals until you achieve the desired degree of lightness. Up to 50 minutes, 50 for retouch, and 40 minutes, 40 for virgin applications. Now, some people say that when your roots are this long, you should treat it like a virgin application. What I recommend, based on my many years of doing this and my beauty school education, even though I only went a half a term, which is why I don't have my license. I think I told you that story. The important thing is you don't overlap because you don't want your hair to break off. I have long hair. I love long hair. The last thing I want to do is break my hair off. So I always get very nervous about that. And I can't tell you how many times I was so convinced that I had the stuff on a little too long. Okay, putting another scoop in. Now I'm going to, I hope the fan is not going to be blowing that powder around. This stuff you do not want to breathe. And now you never want to rub bleach in when you are applying it. But that said, and I have to be so careful trying to use this as a mirror. See, I had a mirror on the wall before, and I took that down. But you know what? I think maybe it would be a good idea to put that back up. But the thing is, there's metal on that, and I shouldn't be touching that. But you know what? I want to see what I'm doing better. So, here. I'm going to take this mirror, and I'm going to try to mount this so I can see. Okay, now, I don't know if you can see this when I go back there. Hopefully you can. My biggest fear is my hair breaking off. I don't want short hair. Okay, I gotta make note of when the timing starts, Kate. 10:38 p.m. I'm gonna go for some border a little bit, but I did some scratching of my scalp when I was at the clinic today. I tried not to, and then I tried to switch to my knuckles so that I wouldn't scratch anything open. I mean, when you know you're going to be putting bleach on things, you really don't want to be scratching the scalp. All these hair dye and hair bleach things warn against applying to a braided scalp. I'm doing some of the things I do on my channel. I really do not recommend you emulate. I'm doing this out of desperation because I need to do my hair. I hate people stopping me on the street saying, "Hey, Leathur, aren't you going to dye your hair anymore?" My homeless friends are telling me this. And when they notice that you seem like you're letting yourself go, then man, you know you're letting yourself go. And I care about how I look in these videos. When I look at how you can tell where I am in my hair dye journey by what color my hair is and how faded it is, and it bugs me. It really does. And I figure if it bugs me, I know it bugs you. It bugs some of you. The scabs and all that stuff is starting to go on. I'm hoping that if it's just a scab and it hasn't been scratched open, hopefully that won't burn. I don't know. As I go back down here, that's what I'm getting nervous about. So let me check some partings here. Because if you don't do partings, then there's a chance that some hair can be dry and not covered by the bleach solution. And you might not know that until after you wash your hair out, and that's when you'll see some sections that show your roots have not been bleached. So, okay. So this is looking a lot more disorganized than I usually do it, but that's because I'm trying not to hurt myself. And I can see more reddish root area here, and since this is still toward the front where I haven't scratched myself up too much, I want to cover that. I don't really feel much burning at all yet. Of course, that doesn't mean anything. Maybe once it starts, it'll be really intense. I don't know. I hope not. And if there's some kind of anesthetic that I could have put on the scalp beforehand, I don't know about that. I didn't want to apply anything to my hair that would interfere with this bleaching, and I certainly didn't want to apply any chemicals that might counteract the bleach. Another thing you never want to have touching this bleach, you never want to have any kind of metal. One of the things we learned in beauty school is if you have metal or if you have metallic salts in any previous dye, like those color restorers that take gray hair and restore it back to its natural hair color, like Grecian formula, those have metallic salts in them. And if you apply a bleach solution like this to something with metallic salts, it'll start bubbling up and smoking and stinking really bad, and your hair will break off. They demonstrated this for us in beauty school. And so that's something you never want to do unless you hate your long hair and you just want it to break off. I'm sure you don't want that to happen. Oh, I gotta keep more cat food on the bowl. If these cats would just eat the food that's on the floor, they're real stubborn. Wish me luck. I feel like I'm about to be going to the danger zone area. We're going to be discovering a lot of things together in this video. Okay, I can feel a little bit of the tingling. I don't want to call it burning yet, but that thing that suggests to me that I may be approaching those areas. You also want to be careful when you're doing your partings. I'm going to give you a close-up look of what this is looking like right now. Now, I'm going to turn this off so that I can ask my mother what she thinks of things. And of course, I have to use, I think, my elbow because I got my gloves full of things. With some grudgingness, my mother is here. She is going to help me see what here. And I'm going to put this down now so that there's more room to do whatever. You see, I've used most of this. This up a little bit. My mother doesn't want to see me hurt myself, and she somehow thinks that maybe participating in this is
whole back.
Okay.
Needs done from all up here all the way down. You can get it at all.
Do you want to help me with this?
Oh, do you want to?
Do you want me to give you rubber gloves first? Rubber gloves here, but you want to powder your hand first.
Leather. Just around here.
Okay, let's make sure the camera is on here because remember, camera is wrong. Okay.
When you get back here and you're with your hands.
Oh, okay.
And work in there.
A lifesaver.
I don't think so.
Hey, you haven't killed me yet.
I'm talking about the heat in here. This is not a lifesaver for me. Get back in here with your, spread it in, work it in. No, just one, please.
Okay, I want them to see something, you know.
All right, well, let's put it on first before you turn around. And
Okay, but they don't see what you're doing though.
Try to put this stuff in. Go ahead, work it in with your hands.
Okay,
You
people
can
don't
turn
see
around,
this.
turn it around and work it in. Up under. Hold this up.
I just
hold it.
yeah. It's really important that I not touch this to the purple.
Okay, we'll get it in there with your hands. Work it up this way.
See, I can't make sure that I don't touch the purple because it'll break off.
I'm trying to get you just to work into the colored part that is red. Okay, you got that.
Okay, I'm just so afraid of touching purple. I mean, bleach to the purple because it'll break it off. And I don't.
Yes, you have covered. You're all covered there.
Wow, really? Okay.
It was just that one part. Okay, and
Ooh,
work
ooh,
back.
okay, yeah, all right. I'm worried about. I see bleach on purple right now, and I don't want to break that off. Yeah.
Oh, you got that.
Yeah, it's not wet enough. You know what? Here, can you stand here? And I'm just going to run and get this a little bit wetter so that.
Obviously, you can tell this is really not a professional job here because I don't know what she's doing. However, what leathers are for. And this is Mommy Dearest at her least that I know of. The hair girl, my daughter.
They love you.
Yeah, right.
They do.
Uh-huh.
And maybe I'll actually get a few views now that she's on.
Did you wipe off what you needed to?
I thought I did. Whoops.
Turn around. There's a strand of purple hair. Oh. No,
I finished telling him how when the hair feels like overcooked spaghetti and it's real stretchy, that's bad. Thank you. I am so grateful.
I gotta go wash this stuff off my hands.
Oh.
It's starting to burn.
Ooh.
So let me go.
All right.
It's been real.
Isn't she great?
Oh, yeah.
Now you are coming back, right?
Why? As what would you have me come back? What form?
As my well-loved cat.
Think about that. Oh, not
Oh,
your cat. No.
I was talking to one of my high school classmates who's on Facebook, and he has 2 dogs, and he made them bone broth with duck bones, okay? And I mean, duck is one of my favorite meats to eat, and I usually eat it in a Chinese restaurant or a Vietnamese restaurant or a Thai restaurant. Thai food is the absolute most heavenly food. I'm an Asian food freak, okay? I've never tried Asian food that I didn't like. even though there's certain things I'm not interested in, like jellyfish, for instance. And steamed buns I'm not into either. But anyway, duck I really, really love. And one day he made bone broth with duck bones for his two dogs. And he saved the chicken livers and the gizzards and all that stuff too for them. And so I said to him, I says, you know what? I decided if I have to be reincarnated, I want to come back as your dogs because then I'll get to have uh, duck bone broth soup. And you know, bone broth is really great if you have arthritis. Uh, Bone broth is very similar to the effects you get from chondroitin and glucosamine, which my mother takes glucosamine supplements. She's been taking them for years. And I wanted to start taking them too. You can get them at the dollar store, Dollar Tree and stuff. But the only thing is you only get like 20 pills in a bottle. And sometimes it's not as strong a formulation, so you end up having to take more than one pill as your dosage. So that makes it maybe not so cheap. But when she was getting big bottles of it, she was paying like $14, $15, if not more, for the stuff. But it's supposed to help with your joints, with arthritis and stuff. So it's something that I wanted to get on. But whenever I got a whole bunch of bottles of it, like the dollar store or something, then she ended up running out of her supply. And of course, I'm going to give it to her because she is dealing with a lot more pain than I am. But I would like to, if money was no object, I would like to get using that glucosamine, MSM, chondroitin stuff, because it really does put a damper on the arthritis pain. Okay. I can see this definitely needs to be covered. I'm glad I cleared a pathway here so that my mother doesn't trip on things when she comes in here. You know, falls are very dangerous. They're not good for anybody, but especially when you're not a spring chicken, you don't want to fall. Yeah. One thing about living in a messy house, there's more things to grab onto when you lose your balance. I fall in her room and I could grab onto her bed and stuff. Like I always get caught in the phone cord. And you know, I don't watch what I'm doing half the time anyway, so it's my own damn fault. The other day I was working on laundry and I was hanging things up in the rack, and I got my foot caught in this trash basket. And it's a good thing her bed was there, or else I would have nosedived, face dive, you know, whatever it is when you face down. I could have really hurt myself, but because I grabbed onto her bed, I was fine. Oh, I see a whole lot of red here. Where are you?
Here.
Oh, okay. You see this?
I want to trip over this.
Oh, yes. Please don't do that. Plus, if you pull this computer down and it falls, I will cry. Okay. You see, I see a lot of dark here.
Okay.
Can you help me with that?
What would you like me to do with it?
Whistle Dixie and wish it Merry
Hey,
Christmas.
listen, you want me to tell them how I had a dream the other night? I had to take over your show for you.
No, tell him.
Oh, didn't I tell you?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Oh, tell him.
This is bad. The other night, I really did. I had this dream, and I don't know what happened to her, but all of a sudden she said, "You got to take over for me, Mom." And what was I doing? I'm standing here doing stand-up comedy.
They would love it. They would love it.
Stand-up comedy. Oh yeah, Phyllis Diller.
I've always loved her. She used to say I looked like her back in the day.
Well, back in the day, you did. That was before the makeup.
Ooh.
Okay.
And every time I do my hair up real big, she says it looks like a rat's nest. And I obviously like rat's nests. She doesn't like mice or rats. So, and that's another thing she does not like.
She doesn't know what a real rat's nest looks like. I do.
Yeah,
she
doesn't.
does.
She doesn't like it when the cats dispatch with our little friends. And I feel really bad because they're like, oh. Really? Wow. You mean even all those?
I would be really careful because you're going down into the purple.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do
No,
that.
I don't want to
Well,
do that.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Stay right
See,
there.
I can't see.
Don't go any further. Just This is where you are, right here.
I
Okay.
can't see it.
Well, look in the mirror. Now that's
Oh.
what it's for. Right in here. Turn. Right in this part. That's its color. You're
Oh,
going,
okay.
like I said, you're
Oh,
going into the.
no, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so what do I do next?
This is for the expert. How do I know
Well,
what
I
you do
can't
next?
see that.
All
Hey,
right.
you're a mother. You have eyes in back of your head. I
Yeah.
can't see back here.
Oh yeah.
Tell
The eyes in the back of the head.
tell them about
Oh.
our brother and about.
My son was 5 years old, and I had to take him to the beauty parlor with me because I couldn't get anybody to keep him. It was really anyway, we won't go. Anyway, I had to take him with me, and for years I'd always told my kids, "Hey, go ahead, try it. I've got eyes in the back of my head. I'll know what you did." So here we are in the beauty parlor, and I get my hair cut, and the beautician is getting ready to, work on me. And he started screaming. He just totally lost it. And finally, she took him aside. She said, "Sean, what's the matter?" She's known him forever. And he said, "I don't want to see the eyes in the back of her head." So she had to show him that I didn't have eyes in the back of my head, which made a liar out of his mother. Oh, well, they finally learned mother wasn't perfect.
The later we figure that out, the better it is for everybody.
Oh, yeah, Santa Claus, too.
Oh, yeah. When Santa Claus told him what time he started watching, and then he knew that that's when he had to start being good.
He wouldn't go to see Santa Claus again. Santa Claus told him October 13th, I started observing. And after, he was awful up until October 13th. And he was this perfect child, but he wouldn't go see Santa Claus. I'd be afraid to do anything else. But you're pulling the purple across.
Okay, well, I don't want to do that. Now, what about the back? It seems to me that I can't cover that. Why isn't burning like holy hell? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really
I got this?
Yeah.
Even his stuff when it's blistering and yucky and looks like a BD in the back?
Yeah.
It's what it does. It looks like
on the
BD.
back. Yeah.
Wow. I can't imagine that I actually covered it.
Well, as far as I can see, you did.
Okay, I'm going to start spreading some things here. You tell me if I miss a spot.
Start spreading the news. Yeah.
It tipped me, damn it.
You
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
I don't have my sharpshooter shoes on today. Come on.
I used to dance the hoochie coo, so I can talk like that.
Come on. Will you please just part the stuff? What about on this side?
Oh.
This side, your right side. You know, the right side. Your other left, right side. Come on. She's always had a problem with left and right. Okay. This is all good. That's good. We've got all the stuff so good. It should start bleaching.
Well, I thank you so much for this.
I'm really having trouble standing.
And plus our floors are warped too.
Yeah,
That's
well,
another
I'm
thing.
falling the other way.
We feel like we're surfing. We've never gotten used to it. How many years have we been in this?
12 years.
That long? Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was a couple months after Dad died.
2009. So 2009
Boy.
from 2000. Oh, I'm sorry. 11 years.
Oh.
Okay. I lied. It just seems like 12 years.
So Tabby Boy's 13 now?
Oh, yeah.
And how old do you think Cassie is now?
I think she's about the same age.
She looks like a baby. We infantilize her, but
her fur and everything. I think
she's starting to look so fluffy. But then again, okay. Okay, now something tells me to talk. I kicked it over again.
Leathur kicked the bucket again. Once again.
Okay, why do I think it's the very top? I always miss the very top.
It was always, honestly, that's got more. Wait, okay, right here. Put some right there.
Oh,
it looks like it's covered.
Like a bishop cap.
But
I always leave that.
All the other stuff is bleached, not really.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But that's the.
Because I poured 6 ounces of bleach. I used your glass measuring cup and everything.
You actually measured it. Wow.
Yes, I did. I'm a big girl.
Yeah.
Now they see my whole missing room, God. Forgive me. This isn't House Beautiful.
Mother's leaving.
You've been
like
great.
Elvis left the building. Well, Mother's leaving this room.
See, my mother tries so hard to be diplomatic.
Tried to be kind.
She is the nice person in our family,
No,
okay?
I'm not.
Yes, she is. She puts up with me, okay?
Everybody thinks I'm nice, but you know the real.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut. No, my mother, she could be mad as hell at me or my brother, and the phone will ring, and she'd be like, hello? I mean, one of the last things she did when the Taj Mahal was getting ready to close, they put her at the front desk answering the phones and dealing with people that were staying in a hotel, making all kinds of interesting requests, or people calling the switchboard. And my mother, she is a consummate customer service person. She treats people the way they want to be treated. She is so nice. Everybody loved working with my mother. And Trump hired all different kinds of people. A lot of times, she was the only white chick in her department. Everybody loved her. When she worked in the Chinese restaurant, they all loved her. There wasn't anybody that did not appreciate my mother. And I'm sure a lot of it is because my mother treats people the way she wants to be treated. Isn't that what everybody wants? And she made people feel good about themselves. She was kind. She was patient. She was competent. She could count. And she had to learn how to operate a cash register. And they had apparently different kinds of registers through the years. And it evolved into the touch screen thing. And I know nothing about this. I've never worked at a cash register or anything like that. And my mother said for years that she would never be interested in taking a casino job. But one day, one of her good friends, who's unfortunately passed to the Rainbow Bridge, said, hey, there's a job fair at Taj Mahal. I'm going. You want to go? My mother just went tag along with her. She got hired. And my mother is a college-educated woman. She used to be a high school English teacher. She is very qualified and very skilled, but she needed a job, and she said she never saw herself as casino worker material, whatever the heck that means. And you really can't generalize casino jobs because there's so many kinds of jobs the casinos have. It's not all gaming floor stuff. There's all kinds of things. But my mother was well loved, respected, appreciated. You know, she never got to meet Donald Trump personally though, but he used to parade. Well, I'm calling it parade. He used to walk through there, and a lot of the female employees were just totally in awe about him because I mean he's tall, good looking, he's the Donald, you know. And it's like, oh man, if I would have seen him, of course I would have been like, oh. But no offense, Melania, you know I'm not chasing after your fella or anything, but man, I like him. I can't help it. I like Trump. I've liked him since at least the 90s. You know, it's funny, all these people that are hating on him now before he was president, everybody wanted to be his friend, you know, but all these people now, it's once you get into politics, then all of a sudden, if you got the wrong initial before your name, people don't like you or something. I don't understand. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the positions that you're going to like, but, you know, I still miss him. When you guys paying your high taxes and your high gas prices now, I'm sure you wish that you weren't paying as high on your gas, right? Okay, this looks like I may be ready to just do the timing. But you know what? I see some parts that I think maybe I need to. See, I don't know if I need to add more bleach or if I just need to let it sit and do its thing, you know? But it's a miracle that it's not burning where I scratched myself. Maybe just the scab itself gives you some kind of cushioning. Now, if I scratched to the point where it was bleeding, it would probably be hurting like hell, but I'm really not hurting myself. I expected that I would have to do half of this at one time. The fact that I am not screaming like I'm being tortured or something, this is a miracle. Okay, well, my mother says that everything is covered, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to let the timer, I'm going to let it time, and then I will, I guess, film after I rinse it out. So we'll see how it goes.
I hear you explain. No, I didn't.
This cold water feels so good.
I'm sure it does.
I don't have any hot water in this at all. You see, because it's not on my body. If it was on my body, I'd be chattering, freezing. Oh, this feels so good. All those itchy, terrible spots. I can't believe how this didn't hurt. I thought I was going to be set my hair on fire, and it honestly did not hurt.
I ruined my shirt.
Oh, well. Well, do you have, that's purple shirt, right?
Yeah.
You have purple magic marker? That'll take care of it.
No, I don't have purple magic marker.
I have a purple shirt.
I have purple watercolor.
Okay. Well, I have a purple magic marker, and it's supposed to be water. It's supposed to be permanent.
This shirt is from the VFW convention of 2003, 2004.
Oh. You know, the first time I was in Las Vegas, it was a national VFW convention that my father went to, and he took the bus all the way across the country. And I was living in Hollywood at the time, and I was dancing in Hollywood. And Dad called me at work, and he said something like, "Do you want to meet me in Vegas?" And Vegas is only like a 9-hour bus ride from Los Angeles, and I did. And we stayed at what used to be the MGM Grand Hotel. What it ended up being, and how I recognized that is it had the lion logo. And my father only stayed like 2 days. He literally, his bus ride was longer than the time he stayed there.
Yeah.
But he did
Where
it,
was your father?
and that was just his style.
And where was your mother that week?
I don't know where you.
Well, I was at Camp Heritage in Western Pennsylvania taking a wood badge course. I was there all week at camp. I was at Boy Scout camp for a week, okay? My son went to Western Pennsylvania with me, and then he went to his uncle, and he went fishing there. So I was at Boy Scout camp. My husband was at a VFW convention. My daughter in Vegas, and the kid was all fishing.
Oh, and I scandaled my father in a way. I wore, poolside, I wore a thong. And by thong, I mean butt floss, practically. And my poor dad, my dad's a good guy, and I guess that was just...
It's a wonder he didn't drown himself.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how... Oh, kind of like, okay, Hank Hill, you know, King of the Hill. That was kind of my father in a way. Real respectable, real sensitive, like, oh, yeah. Oh, what do the neighbors say? Oh, you know, I wasn't exactly manger babies, you
I
know.
remember what we took her to see the Andromeda Strain, which was a science fiction movie. She wanted to be an astronaut. She was about 6 years old.
That was the first thing I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah. So we took her to see the Andromeda Strain. Well, in it, they're coming out of this chamber where they had been decontaminated, and they were naked. But you always saw, you know, the back and just partial, you know. My husband was ready to leave. Oh my God, baby girl. And really, it was, you know, really cute.
It was sweet how he was worried about my being exposed to any nefarious influence. I had a perfect parents. I really do. You know. And look how I came out.
Head first. Yeah, she was, the doctor said she'd be born on November the 3rd, and it was very early in the morning.
I gotta try my computer. Now they're gonna identity theft me. Thanks a lot, Mom.
Huh?
I said, now they're gonna identity theft me. Thanks a lot.
They said 6:09 in the morning. There she was. Didn't say what you.
Give a paper towel, please. I got water on my keyboard.
Oh, God. Here, just grab a towel.
Okay, I hope I'm not turning this off, but I got, whoops. Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Can you get paper towels, please? Boy, yes, this is wet. See, I've never done this before. You guys, I'm doing so much of my YouTube thing is I'm experimenting. It's trial and error here. And, isn't this fun? This is going to be a long A double dollar signs video with my mother as a co-star. I tell you, this should be doing very well because everybody loves to see my mom. Oh well, real paper towel.
Well,
Not the.
what did you ask?
No, I'm not complaining, believe me. I forgot that we had real paper towels and not just, there. There. Okay, that should be kind of okay. All right. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off, and when I blow dry my hair, then I will show you.
I wouldn't do it with a wet hand.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the button? Which one's the button?
This.
That turns it on?
Yeah, okay, we're going to turn this off and to be continued. Yeah. Mom, you didn't turn it off, really.
Well, you told me to press
here.
that button.
Well, here, I want to show you something. Here, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to try this again. To be continued. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit the bell so you don't miss anything I post. I'd like to take you on some more of my adventures, and maybe if you ask real nice, you should join us again.
Please. Can't wait to do this again.
Bye.